Hi everyone, and welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday episode. Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint this sort of rustic old postcard painting. If you're just going for the painting, you can definitely forego the rustic postcard part. It just so happened that this is how it turned out because my piece of paper was manufactured wrong, and you can see that the left third of the piece of paper is not absorbing or holding water properly, so that's why it turned out looking like it did. Instead of throwing out the piece of paper, I thought I would salvage it and make it look rustic. So the first thing you want to do is cover your entire piece of paper with a layer of water using a mop brush. I've included links to all the products that I use in my videos in the description if you want to purchase it for your collection. It helps me because it gives me commission if you use my links, even if you don't buy the products that you clicked on. If you buy anything on Amazon after you've clicked on my link, it gives me a little bit of commission, which helps me essentially make these videos for you. So after you've applied that layer of water, you want to begin creating this sort of background, brownish background kind of color, and you want to start with a light brown and then progressively get darker, specifically in the corners. So you want to make sure that you leave the center, the top center, sort of white, because this gives the illusion that there is a forest and there is depth to this forest. So that's what we're going here. I'm basically just creating a circle of color that fades as it gets closer to the center. So you can definitely add a little bit of black with every subsequent layer that you put on, but I just used a brown mixed with a little bit of black and possibly a little bit of beige as well. You can even begin to add some very light streaks to insinuate trees. Just make sure you start from the top and go downwards, because the layer is still wet. If you go upwards with your brush, the top will sort of bleed out. So you want to avoid that and let it bleed out towards the bottom, because it's not going to show in the bottom, since that's where all of the color and the darkness is. Once you're happy with your first layer, or second, third, whatever layer you're on, let it dry completely, and this is where you're going to start painting on the details and the really detailed and delicate branches of your trees. So this is the second last layer, so you're basically going to use a brown color and paint on thin trees that span from the top of your page all the way to the bottom, with some delicate branches sticking out. Here I'm using a wide array of sizes of brushes, so I'm using my size 14 Grombacher brush to basically paint on the actual bulk of the tree, the stump that stretches from the top to the bottom, and then I'm using smaller sizes to paint on the delicate branches. You can also add in a third and final layer, or your last layer, using black or brown mixed with black to make it look like the trees are even closer than the brown ones behind it, using the same technique of painting out these beautiful delicate branches that sort of go crazy and go everywhere. You just want to make sure that any trees that you're painting in the middle are a lot lighter than the others, because you want to make the forest look mystical and like there's, depth in the center of the forest, and it kind of insinuates that there's a pathway that a walker can go down and follow into the light, I guess. I also added sort of a bottom portion here because I wanted there to be a little bit of blending from the bottom of the trees. I didn't want them to just be coming out of nowhere, so I just added a little bit of black and brown towards the bottom. I also added some grass and some other little growths coming from the bottom just because that bottom center portion looked a little bit bare, so I wanted to add a little bit of complexity by adding thin details. I also flicked on some brown watercolor, both brown and black watercolor actually. This was sort of to insinuate that there is some sort of foliage in the trees without actually adding any foliage, and I think it turned out really nice. Once you're happy with your painting and everything has completely dried, you can peel off the borders of your piece of paper if you opted to tape them in the beginning. And if your piece of paper isn't poorly manufactured like mine, then you'll probably have nice, clean, and crisp edges. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out some of my previous uploads.